Hello. In this video, I'm going to be explaining and showcasing my matchmaking software for my game Brain Rot Battle Royale, which is releasing on Steam July 4th, so please check it out. Yeah, so let's get into it. So I needed this matchmaking software because for the first version of the game, for the kind of skeleton architecture that we started on, we were using a listen server because it was a prototype for a different game, which is like a client-hosted kind of thing. And for a battle royale game, this doesn't work because the client is they can die in the battle royale game and they might disconnect after they die, which is a problem. To fix this, what we did was we moved the game to dedicated servers, and we needed a way to pair players from the dedicated server to the actual players who are like connected to it and playing. Um, and this was the method that we chose for that. I wanted a challenge, and to really challenge myself, I went ahead and built this matchmaking service, and it's really, really cool. I think you'll find it interesting. So let's go ahead and have a look. So it's running from this thing here. This is the Visual Studio project, and it's a pretty cool system. I'll go ahead and start it here. It works all with command line arguments and that sort of thing, so you can specify that it should run on localhost. And it also has a feature for testing networks, so you can have servers register themselves as test servers and have clients ask for servers to be delivered to them as test servers so that they can, if you're in a debug or a development build, you can use a test server and still have that sort of thing work. And yeah, so I'll go ahead and do a showcase of what that might look like. So I'll run the matchmaker locally. If I run it locally, it's going to use obviously localhost, but if I ran it like this, it would use my public IP address as the public kind of matchmaker IP that everything would connect to. And then if I run, for example, the server locally, go ahead and do that. This one's a local testnet server. It will run the server, and I'm gonna go ahead and mute the audio here because it shouldn't be having the audio right now. Anyway, so you can see the server running here. It shows all the data that it has, and it automatically will connect and register itself to the server. It shows the IP, the game version, the name of it. And the cool thing about the matchmaking software that I wrote is you can kind of just query it at any time. So you can run commands like status to see all the servers that are connected and registered. You can do game stats to see the clients that are active, the servers that are active, and the matches that are in progress. And this has a lot of cool features, like in the main menu of the game, it will show how many players are online and playing, which is really, really cool. And servers can also, if you use the command line, you can choose whether or not they should render by running the set server render command. And then if you wanted to kind of watch people play the game from the server, you could do that. And you can run these servers off anywhere you want. You can run them off an AWS EC2. You could run them off your own computer. It's fully distributed. They um, they basically look up a config file in a web server, which gives it connection info to the central matchmaking service. And the central matchmaking service they can obviously register themselves to it, and then players can look up the central matchmaking service and then request matches or request game stats and information so that they can display more stuff. So, for example, if I were to rerun it again, with port 7777, which is like another port that you might use. I'll rerun it, and then you'll see it registers itself. These ones are on the testnet, as you can see. But if I were to, let me run this server here, and it has localhost, but usually this one wouldn't be localhost. If I had localhost here, and we'll do this one on 7774, run server, right? Waiting for that. And you can see that this one's on the mainnet, and these two are on the testnet. So if a client wants a testnet build, which they can choose by running themselves with the testnet command line, they will get a testnet server, which will allow them to test the game on the exact same matchmaking service that the host is using. So let's go ahead, or not the host, the exact same service that everyone else is using, all the players are using. So let's go ahead and run a client locally on the testnet. Sorry, I'm a bit sick. So if I run a client, it takes a while to start up. It's a bit slow today. you'll see it'll make a connection to the matchmaking service, and it will show that there is one player online right now. If I were to start another client, you'll see it connect. I'll full screen it, and you'll see we now have two players online. This will update in a second when it pulls the next game stats from the game. And they all link into a PostgreSQL database that manages stuff like stats, which is the Aura feature, but it's not configured on my computer correctly. It is on our main dedicated server, so it'll work there instead. So if I were to, for example, you can see it registers it here. I can do game stats, and it will say active servers 3, connected players 2. If I were to find a match, it will basically send a request to the game server. It will look for a server with that's on the network that it wants, mainnet or testnet. It will look for one with the same client version, and it will look for one with the same region. So all of the clients on this current region are on NA East, but you can change it in the future. We just don't have any dedicated servers in other regions right now. So you can see I can like walk around. If I hit find match on this one, load me in, and I can walk in here. Now we're both here. Yeah, and it logs all of this information. It's all here. It works. You can have as many servers as you want in a distributed system. You can have as many client connections as you want in a distributed system. It just works. Like it works very, very well. The clients really aren't as distributed, but the servers are. And yeah, so it's that's kind of the showcase of the matchmaking software. I think it's a pretty damn cool system. Um, and I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, we plan on open sourcing it sometime in the future, and I also plan on writing an article about building kind of production matchmaking software because even though the game is pretty simple, it works surprisingly well. We've kind of tested it a lot and done stress tests and certain other things, and it's not perfect. It has problems. There are flaws and holes and issues, but we're making really good progress, and we're getting there. So it's looking pretty good. So we have the game version. So another cool thing is servers will automatically be given an ID from the matchmaking software when they register themselves that they can use to send things like heartbeats and update packets like game stats and update their state for the game. Um, so, for example, when I don't know which server is hosting this game, but when it starts to play the game, which is starting in 90 seconds. So it's a bit too long, so we won't get there. But it will basically send a packet to update its state, which will make it unjoinable, and so people will find the next game that is joinable, and it just works really, really well. And if there are errors, they're handled perfectly. So, for example, if I were to kill all of the servers, it'll just take us right back to the main menu. And if I were to try to find a match, there's no servers up. If I were to try to find a match, it's going to take a second. Uh, 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 and then it says it's gonna time out. Now, the reason why it times out is because the servers haven't deregistered themselves yet. But you can see here they've just deregistered themselves because the matchmaking server failed to get a heartbeat. So now all of those servers are deregistered. If I go to status, it'll say no active servers. And if I go to find match, or if I go to like find match, for example, the matchmaking will of course time out. And this one, now it says, failed to find available server, reason no active servers. This means all servers are down for maintenance. And if I were to try to do it with like an old client, so this is like a really common scenario where you push and update to Steam, you update your servers, but some people's clients are on old versions, and it handles this perfectly elegantly. So if I switch to the boot scene here, load it up, run it, go ahead and do this. This is a client on a later version. If I hit find match, it's going to say out of date. Please restart the game and download a new update, which works pretty well. And if the whole matchmaker goes down, so it doesn't know how to connect to it or whatever. If I were to let's go ahead and pause this there. If I were to take the whole matchmaker down, and then head back, it will register the matchmaker as not being connected to. Just give that a second. It's trying to connect. And you can see it there. There it is. So trying to reconnect, please wait. You are not connected to the matchmaker service. Please verify your internet connection. or check, official communication, and you can't find an official server while that's happening. But if I were to rerun the matchmaker, for example, so I'll rerun the matchmaker, and then we'll just wait until these guys reattempt a connection, because they do it every couple of seconds. Um, this one reconnected, you can see it there, and this one reconnected too. So yeah, they're all set to go. And yeah, so everything kind of works really well. It's a cool system, and I'm really happy with it. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.